So I guess we could get right into it. Again, this is
Yeah.
completely casual.
Yeah,
I wanted
absolutely.
to, when you were like, let's talk about music, I was like, wait, don't tempt me with a good time because I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
a huge fan. I found your EP recently. So I'm like a new fan. To be completely honest,
Welcome.
I've done a deep dive now, but I found your music on the Music Friday Australia um,
Okay.
playlist because I always listen to that playlist because you Australians really got your shit going on. The
Yeah,
music is like top notch coming out of Australia. I will say it's
I,
fantastic.
c- I can't speak on behalf of all of us, but yeah, I feel like there's a bit of like there's a bit of like a reputation now. It's like, oh, it better be good. If there's an Australian name attached to it, it better be good, or otherwise,
Oh,
like
that's
we'll
a
disown you.
reputation. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's incredible and it's amazing. So, what brought you to Sweden? I guess first off, because I saw that you're like recording there.
yeah. So I played in bands and stuff when I was younger. I actually got into singing really late. And I did it basically because this band I was playing and we broke up, and I was like, I didn't have a job, but we did some touring over in Germany and Sweden and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't have a job. I played bass guitar. I'm like, okay, I didn't study anything. What am I going to do for work? And a friend of mine ran a bar, and he's like, oh, can you play 3 hours worth of music? I'm like, I've never sung in public, so yeah, I don't know. And he was like, it pays $300. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
I'm like down. Um, and so I did that, and then I basically just did that for a few years, and I started singing, started writing my own stuff. I posted a YouTube video, I think, and the old publisher of my band who lived in Sweden, his wife, I think, heard it, and then she passed it on to him, and he rang me one night, and he was like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't tell me you sang." And I was like, "I don't really. I just mumble and fumble my way through trying to
Oh,
pay rent and stuff." And he was like, no, and he's like swearing at me. He's very Australian, but he lives in Sweden. And he was like, I think you should come up here. And I was like, I kind of just, because I just got a job at like an advertising agency. And I was like, I'm growing up, I'm getting my big boy pants on and, getting a real job. I might get a haircut soon. Who knows? And he was relentless. Like he called me like a couple times a month for a couple months. And I was also dating someone at the time who was like, no, you should get a real job kind of thing. Don't
oh,
do
okay.
music. And I was like, okay.
Were you singing your like your own songs when you're doing that? Or like
A little
covers?
bit. I actually got fired from the pub for singing my own songs one night.
What?
Yeah, I built up the confidence to sing a whole set of my own music one night.
Nice.
And and then I did it, and I just so happened to do it the night like the manager walked in, and it was very reminiscent of the stuff that I still do now. And he was like, "Who is this depressing, long-haired, like homeless guy singing the saddest songs?" And he told the manager at the place, so he's like, "Never get this guy back again." So I was like, that's the confidence you need when you're really just branching out and starting to sing your own songs, is
Yeah.
to get fired for doing it. But I mean, it was all well and ends well. Like yeah, the guy sent me up to Sweden. He was like, I'm going to organize a bunch of producers and writing sessions for you to do. I had no idea what to expect, and then the first session was with this guy called Freddie. And I rang I rang up this publisher guy, and I was like, hey, you can cancel the rest of them because like I like this guy. Yeah, I don't need to work with anyone else. And me and Freddie have done every song that I've put out like for the past 4 or 5 years.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Yeah, I saw your
So
first single. Oh, sorry, what?
yeah, everyone's like, oh, when you say, oh, I moved to Sweden, they're like, oh, did you move? Did you get a girlfriend, or did you find a partner or something? I was like, no, actually, I moved to my producer.
Left everyone behind and we're making
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah,
Well, that just goes to show like how much of this all means to you. I mean, it's a big deal, like making a move
yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's huge. I mean, there's not many places further than from Australia to Sweden. Like, I don't think there's flights that go further than that.
Oh, really? Sweden,
Yeah, I
like
mean, it's a 27-hour flight, I think, in total.
it's a lot colder too. Do you like that?
Yeah, yeah. Coming from Australia, where
Yeah.
I live off the sun, like I'm essentially a giant solar panel.
Yeah.
Here's like the winter is the worst, and we're going into it
Yeah,
now,
we're
and
about to hit that.
I can already feel like my soul leaving my body as I
Oh, no.
as like it gets down to like I think the sun comes up sometimes at 10 in the morning and goes down at like
Uh,
3 o'clock. So it's like it's rough.
That's so rough. Coming as a San Diegan, like I'm
Mm,
used to the vitamin D. Like I moved to the mountains and
yeah.
I would be like, I need vitamin D vitamin. Like I need to like take
The same.
supplement.
I was like, I'm a mentally strong person. I'll be fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be okay. And then I was like, why do they sell vitamin D tablets at like every checkout of every grocery store? And then halfway through Wednesday, I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah,
Everyone's just
I don't have any
crying.
motivation to do anything. I need to take some of these tablets. Like
Yeah. No, it's
people buy, they're like these little panels that are called like sun lamps, and they just sit in front of them for like 20
what?
minutes a day. Yeah, to like simulate sun, like UV rays getting on your face. I'm like, maybe I need to buy one of these. But
Yeah,
they're the
that's
weirdest looking thing. It looks like a chopping board that a big light comes out of, and you just look at it. I'm like, okay, that's gonna save my seasonal depression. Got it.
it's the resilience though against it. It's like, I don't need it. Like I'm fine. Like I did that too. I didn't ever buy like an ice scraper for my windshield because I was like, no, it's
Yeah, yeah.
cool. I can do this. And everyone's like, what are you doing? Like you
You're like,
live
you will
here.
not survive. Yeah,
Yeah. Like you're
I'm the same.
okay.
I was like,
Well,
no,
that
I'm strong. I'm a strong,
yeah.
independent man.
Well, I've never been to Sweden or Australia. Kelsey on the podcast the other day, we are talking about Australia, and all I think of are spiders. And we're like,
Everyone says that, and then they're
does
like,
everyone?
they're like, oh, I'd love to come visit you, but just the spiders and snakes.
Yes.
I'm like, you really have to go out rural countryside if you want to run into spiders and snakes. Like, yeah, there is spiders everywhere, but not like a spider that's gonna kill you in like 2 minutes kind of
All
thing.
right. Well,
They're
that's good
like
to
out in
know.
the countryside.
All right. No countryside, but
Yeah.
well, we're
Stick
gonna have to
towards the cities, you'll be fine.
okay. All right. I'll tell her. I'll tell her. I'll
Yeah.
let her know.
Be like, I found out what we need to do. Just stay in the city.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are very excited. We are announcing our partnership with Braid Network. Ash is going to tell you all a little bit about it. It's incredible. We're so excited to be working with them.
Yeah, we are amped. So Braid Network is basically like a Linktree and a Discord combined. It is an app, also web-based, so you do not have to download the app. You can just join us on the web if you'd like to. We are going to be communicating there, having little groups, little channels for us all to have fun talking about the podcast, talking about San Diego venues, concerts in the area.
Hell yeah.
We want all you guys to join us on Braid, on our network, so we can have fun just connecting and like getting more into our community.
Yes.
Because we started Discord, it was like,
It was hard. It's hard to
hard.
get. We really
it doesn't bring it all together.
Exactly. This is honestly so nice because even when I look at it, it's just a nice like feed of all of our social media in one place. So things that we post on TikTok will be on there. Things
Yep.
that we post on YouTube will be on there. So if you're just following us on Instagram, go over to Braid and you can
And then
kind
you
of
can
see
all of it.
all of our
You
content.
don't really have to have all the other social media.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like you can be whoever you want to be with friends.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can make your own profile. You
Yes.
can make your own emojis, which are amazing.
Which we were gonna have to make some girl ones.
Oh yeah, we're making girl
obviously.
ones, and you can kind of like explore your own identity there
Yeah.
within it.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
It's such a fun company. They're so incredible what they're doing. They really value content creators and people like us who just we have a lot of lanes, and it just helps us really keep it all together in one, like a link tree, but way better, I think, just
Yeah.
because it's visual. It's so visual based.
Yes.
And that's how I operate on my brain.
So today, when you are watching the podcast, you can hop onto our Braid network and chat with us there. Give us any
Yes.
notes, any comments, anything you want to chat about that we talked about, the songs you listen to, our playlist.
Yes.
We will be on there and we can all chat about our podcast.
And we're so excited. Thank you so much to Braid Network.
Yeah,
We
thanks,
can't
Braid
wait.
Network.
So I took a look at your website and I love how you have it set up. Do you have your Tumblr like linked to your homepage?
So I stupidly try and do everything myself, like artwork, videos, internet, website, merch, everything, because I'm just like a control freak. So I was like, I'll do it all myself. And I think creating a website was the one thing that I was like, okay, I can't learn this very well. So I just found a Tumblr template and ran my website through a Tumblr
I
template.
love it. It's so amazing.
Well, I liked it because I was like, okay, Instagram's slowly dying. I'm like, but I love how an Instagram can be like a mood board for artists
Yeah.
and people. So I was like, let me just replicate that into a website where I can still hold on to this like nice aesthetic feed kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very like aesthetically pleasing. It looks great. Do you
Yeah.
take all like do you do photography? I know it's like in your profile pic you have a camera.
Yeah, I do a bit. I mean, a lot of it's also like Pinterest inspo and stuff like that. Like, I would not call myself a photographer. I love playing around with it, and
Mhm.
I tried to do a lot of my own shoots and things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails really bad. But I'm getting
For
there slowly. I'd love to get better at it.
I love your pictures because I feel like for it like captures like I want to say like the quiet moments that are like still
Mm,
so like moving, you know? And that's kind of how your music is, truthfully. Like it's very much
I
actually
get a lot of
the what?
I get a lot of shit. I get a lot of shit for that actually, because a lot of my a lot of my friends, even my manager, like, it's a little deep, the stuff that you're saying. I'm like, oh, it's just, how I felt writing something or what I felt like posting. It's like, we should post more engaging stuff. And I'm like, I'm
Eh,
like, I'm just gonna post kind of what I like and it'll be good.
yeah, I mean, it's people love that stuff. It's just kind of getting it out there. It's hard, but like people are ready for it. I promise you.
Yeah,
I love,
I think you go a bit crazy if you end up trying to chase everything that's
yeah. Oh my
doing
gosh,
well and stuff at the
it's
time.
it's absurd. It's
Yeah.
truly ridiculous how many uploads like songs to Spotify and stuff. In the end, like if you think about it too much, it's a numbers game. So you just gotta let that go and just do what inspires you, and
Yeah.
it'll take you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Um, I also want to say like you're one of my new favorite songwriters that I found.
Thank
What's
you.
your ideal environment for writing a song?
Um, actually, ooh, that's tough. I mean, depends. I mean, I love writing with other people for like their projects and stuff like that. I do a lot of
Okay.
writing with others because I mean, I just love helping other artists, especially I think my kind of strong point is lyrics uh and stuff like that. And especially we're here in Sweden writing with a lot of artists who, English is their second language. They often like second guess their lyrics sometimes. So I like being that,
Oh,
the figure's just like, no, it's good. Trust it, trust your instincts, like write that kind of stuff. But I mean, when it comes to my stuff, I get really precious with it. And it kind of works. It works really well because Freddie's really busy these days that I can, come up with stuff and then bring it to him at a later date and kind of figure it out. But as for ideal writing environment, I don't think there is one for me.
okay.
I go through real bad blocks of writer's block.
Oh, okay.
I'll go like 6 months or something without writing a song, and then I'll be in, like, right now I'm back into a phase of writing, and I know that it happens when I start like having conversations with people and like someone says something and in the back of my head's just like, that's a good line, okay, I should need to write this down. So I'm back into like a writing phase, which usually lasts for like a few months, but it's so frustrating that it just isn't more consistent because
Yeah.
I love having routine, and just my creative writing side just does not give me any routine at all.
Yeah, I mean, like you're poetic when you're writing. So that I was gonna ask also, like, if it that is difficult, have you always been like a writer? Because I feel like you do take the little moments and the big moments, and you kind of poetically put
I,
that together.
I think so. I think I always used to uh, wonder why people didn't do that, because I was like, it was saying it's easy for me sounds kind of cocky and arrogant, but I just kind of like always naturally did that. I'm like, why did that person write that? They could have like said this instead. Um, so then, yeah, I think I realized it was when I think my mum started asking me a lot to like write birthday cards and stuff for people. She's like, oh yeah,
Oh,
we've got to write like for blah blah's birthday card. What should you write? Or like she was going to a funeral. She's like, oh, what should I say here? I'm like, why are you asking me? She's like, you're good with words, and I'm like, am I? Okay.
how old were you?
Uh, I mean, she still asks me to do it now when she has to write something important. She's like,
Yeah,
now what
I
would you
don't.
say here?
I'm not good at writing. That's why I love music. People put the words into my mouth.
Yeah. A friend of mine the other day was like, can you help me write the blurb for my GoFundMe page? He was doing some charity raising for a friend of his who moved from Ukraine to Sweden. And he was like, you're good
Okay.
with words. He's like, how do I explain this? I'm like, okay, I've gone from writing songs to writing GoFundMe pages.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
like,
gift.
writing is writing.
It's truly a gift to be able to like take your emotions. I'm like an extremely empathetic person, and they just kind
Yeah,
of stick with me.
same.
Like I've tried journaling and like putting it down, but it just never is like, it's like,
Yeah, I was like, I'm way too invested. I'm like deeply invested in this GoFundMe page and like raising money now. I'm like,
now I have to write the best GoFundMe page.
yeah. And I sent it to him. He's like, this is amazing. I'm like, I just wrote what the situation was about. He's like, I could never write this. I was like, okay.
You should
I'm
send us
like, I
the link
guess
to
this is my
that.
thing.
You should send us
Yeah,
the
yeah,
link to
absolutely.
that and we'll post it on our Instagram.
Yeah, is that I have a rule in life. It's like always make friends with the baristas wherever you live and stuff like that and be nice to them.
What's a
And the
Brewster?
barista, sorry, barista. If I
Oh,
say it with an American accent, maybe I was like, if I say it with an American accent, maybe it's good. But yeah, one of my oldest friends here, he's my barista.
oh, nice.
But yeah, a girl who started working at the cafe, she moved over to Sweden from Ukraine when the war started, and then her and her family just got like internet scammed out of an apartment that they just signed up for. So they put their big deposit down, they lost their deposit. So
No.
we're trying to raise money to help them out with a new apartment that they can move into.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that's awful. Ugh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Like that's people's well-being. They need the place to live and you're gonna scam them for
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm like, I was like, don't think negative thoughts about these people that have scammed this poor family, but that's okay.
yeah, but
We'll
also
sort it out. They've got us around to help them out. So
oh, nice. Yeah, I definitely agree with the barista thing. I befriended a barista like when I used to work next to a cafe, and then she ended up getting like she was a masseuse on the side, and she like brought a massage bed over eventually. I was like, this is the best thing ever. She like gave me.
it's always they're always like jack of all different trades baristas.
Yes,
and they always
exactly.
know like the cool spots. They're like, people say, oh, you should make friends with bartenders. I'm like, no, make friends with baristas. I'm like, they see all the gossip that happens all day. They
Yes.
know the cool things opening up before they open up, and they're just very cool people.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Great tip.
Yeah.
So who did you grow up listening to, and did any of those artists inspire you?
I think, I mean, it's always pretty prevalent, I think, what your parents listen to. My mum loved Crowded House and Bruce Springsteen, so I love both Crowded House and Bruce Springsteen. My dad was the weird one. He used to listen to like, he had this box set of 5 Brit rock CDs from like the 50s and 60s that he was just obsessed with. But he would blast like Dean Martin, but then go and listen to Jethro Tull and the Doors. So it was a very like, my dad, I probably take after my dad a bit in the fact that he just had such a broad spectrum of music that he listened to. He'd be walking around a house crooning and then singing Wild Thing by the Trogs like the next minute. I'm like, I don't understand.
I love it. Dean Martin, that's a good choice. My dad chose that as well.
Yeah. I'm like, oh wow, Dad's a Rat Pack guy, but also loves the Doors. Interesting.
Yeah, I like that. It's awesome. A little variety. I saw that you have your Hugs Not Drugs playlist and stuff on Spotify, and then your main character energy. And I definitely saw like you have like Bon Iver in there, Novo.
Yeah, I mean, definitely love Bon Iver. Like probably the main sort of. I mean, just his. I mean, the band and Justin Vernon's career is like such a awesome career to look at. You know, like it's like career goals kind of thing. If we're still using that kind of phrase where you say goals about things.
Use it.
Yeah. I was like, some kid on TikTok is going to roast me for still using goals.
You didn't say like hashtag career goals.
Yeah. So. My friend did that the other day. He walked in and was like, yeah, and did the hashtag with his fingers as well. No. I was like, what are you? This isn't a Jimmy Fallon sketch. What are you doing?
That's great.
But yeah, I mean, I love Bon Iver. I mean, the first big music moment for me was, I think I was 14 and I went to a music festival, and it was around like the height of like the kind of indie rock era. And like early Kings of Leon were playing, like around the Aha Shake Heartbreak kind of days. And I walked in and they were, I think, main stage at like 4:00 in the afternoon. And I was just like gobsmacked. I was just staring. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like, so I think that's so cool. Like if I was to pinpoint like music like catalyst moment, it's definitely going to that festival when I was 14.
What festival was that?
It was called A Big Day Out. It's like now bankrupt, but it was honest. I think the year I went, I think the headliners were Wolfmother, Kings of Leon, Dandy Warhols, like Slipknot,
Oh,
Muse. Like it was just like every like rock band of like that era was just,
yeah.
because it was like the biggest summer festival in Australia for like 20 years or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like all the big bands usually came out to Australia for summer and played Big Day Out, because it went to 4 different cities like through Australia.
Oh, the festival did.
Yeah, there'd be like a big, and it was off the back of like people doing tours through Asia, and they come down to Australia just to wrap up summer.
Oh, got it. Very
Yeah,
cool. That's awesome.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah, festivals, they can get you good. Like when you see an amazing artist perform at a festival, you're just like in the moment of, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I hate like planning some of those, like, a lot of people get obsessed with planning their itinerary before the festival.
Oh,
Like, I got to see this,
that's
this, this. I'm like, yeah, I'll pick maybe three or like two each day I definitely want to see. Other than that, I just want to like roam around and run into things, because it's
yeah.
just like
Otherwise it's
that's where
stressful.
you find the best stuff. Yeah. I'm like definitely missing that.
Yeah, Kelsey and I are definitely like, okay, so we're going here and we get there at like noon. So by
Mm.
like we can't even do 2 days anymore because we
I
are
was, I
just
was, I
so
was watching, your reels on it, and you're like, yeah, we can't do 3-day festivals. I was like, I feel you. I feel you. I was like, these
it's
knees, they don't
so
hold me up like they used to.
I know we do one full day and it's like so fun. And then the next day we're like, how did we do this? It's so sad, but it's fine. We push through.
Orthopedic shoes. Just get some orthopedic shoes and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Some Dr. Scholl's were good.
Yeah.
Um, so this is kind of an interesting question, but I like to know people's answer to this. So if I ask you to
Okay.
close your eyes and imagine a moment, place, activity you could go to now that would make you insanely happy, what and where would it be? And you can think about it,
Oh,
but
I can think about it. I'm glad I got a chance to think about it.
close your eyes, I guess. What's the first place you go to?
Okay. Okay. This is very cheesy, and I hate that it's a very self-indulgent answer. I'm gonna open my eyes while I answer.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
it's 2019, and I was playing a show in Hamburg, and it was just a random like in the basement show. I was a support act, and I was playing, and I was like, no one knew me. I was just there because I was managed to get onto this tour. I don't know. And I played a song, and I played Monsters, one of my songs, and the crowd started clapping along. And it's the very first moment anyone's ever clapped like along to a song of mine. And my brain actually blew up. And I like my drummer was sitting there, and because he had some like triggers and stuff like that, I was like, I just lost my spot in the song. And I just
Oh,
looked at him and kind of freaked out, and he just started laughing at me. Um, and then he just egged on the crowd to like cheer me on, because I just messed up the whole song, and we started the whole song again and played it. But it was just like it's this like
oh,
I'm like getting teary like talking about it, because I'm
oh.
like, it was one of those first moments that I was like, oh, like maybe maybe I'm allowed to be on stage, because I think like a lot of other artists, I get like such imposter syndrome sometimes
Mhm.
of being like, oh yeah, I mean, why should I be here? There's thousands of people that can sing better than me and play guitar better than me. But that's like, whenever I think about live shows, which is the whole reason I got into music, I think about that specific show all the time, because it was just
Oh,
like
I
this,
love
like
that.
even though it was like I was like the worst thing ever, because I completely messed up the song, but it was just like it was so wholesome at the same time. So
Yeah, I just felt how you felt through that. That's why I love that
yeah,
question because it really gets people to you just take a
I was
moment,
just like,
close your eyes, and you're like,
yeah.
oh, that is the moment. Oh, that's
Yeah, I
awesome.
love that. I love that my moment is me playing a show as well. It's like very
Oh,
arrogant
it
of me
is.
to
It's
answer that.
kind of like, yeah, that's perfect. I mean, as
Yeah.
a person that goes to shows, in those moments
Mm.
on the other end too, where you can just feel the emotion and everyone being involved, it's in the crowd, and then also the artist like feeling it. Those are like special moments for people in the audience, even though like you had to restart the song, like that even is more of an imprint. I'm sure all those people remember that moment too. It's
Yeah, and there was so many like just random wholesome moments that happened afterwards. Like a girl gave me a rose from like the crowd, and I was like, "Thank you so much." Like I like took it back with me. I was just like, there's this photo of me just like with this horrible grin on my face, just being so happy, just holding this like one flower, being so happy. Another guy like asked me where I got my shoes from and wanted to take a photo of like my shoes. And I was like, thanks, man. He's like, yeah, your music was really good, but I just really want to know where you got your shoes from. I was like, Thanks. I got them on sale.
Yeah, great. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But it was just a night of yeah, big wholesome energy.
Yeah, that's perfect. So you're in Sweden now. Do you plan on doing a world tour? No pressure, but are we making it to LA? Like, what's happening?
I would love to. You should like the emails and messages I send out on a weekly basis, just being like, hey, what tour? Let's like do this. Like I was saying before, it's the only reason I got into music was to play live. As much as I am shit scared of playing live, but
Yeah.
and very nervous when I do it. Like it's the only reason I wanted to like. I'm not like a studio musician. A lot of people are studio musicians and they love getting in and geeking out. I'm like, I want to write songs and play them live. And yeah, I mean, I keep a constant running list of all the bands that are on tour, and just my kind of daily thing is just like emailing and DMing people like, hey, can I support act, or hey, can I get on
Oh,
this tour kind of
wow.
thing. Because I'm like, that's where you see the biggest like tangible thing with music. I mean, like streaming and stuff's really cool, but you don't really, you can't see reactions from people, or get to
Yeah.
talk to people about music afterwards. So it's like, yeah, all I want to do is like go on tour, and I constantly get it's probably the biggest message that I get in my DMs is like, oh, when are you coming to Atlanta? When are you coming to Saskatchewan? When
Like,
are you
I'm trying.
Yeah, I got a friend in New York. He's like, hey, New York's waiting for you. I was like, I get it. I would love to go to New York. I would love to play. So I mean, at the moment it's easy, well, not easy, but it's easier to do some touring around Europe, which is one of the reasons I moved here. Like in Australia, you can visit maybe 4 or 5 cities, but it takes you the same length as visiting 4 or 5 countries in Europe. So
Yeah.
hopefully just the music keeps spreading enough where it's, can book some tours of my own. But I think I'm very realistic in knowing that I'm kind of still in the support act phase of my career of not quite big enough to do big some shows of my own, but hopefully I can get out on the coattails of someone else soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, when are you have 3 EPs right now, so is there an album coming soon? Is that in the works?
Yeah, so the EP that you just I think the most recent one that you might be referencing, Oh Downhill, it's actually the side A of my first album. So
Okay.
the full album comes out in January. So yeah, hopefully with that comes big
Comes out in
touring opportunities.
January.
Yeah, January 13, much to my like superstitious
Yeah.
annoyance. Yeah, it's like, hey, your album's coming out Friday the 13th. I'm like, awesome. That's great.
Is that a
guys.
Friday?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not stressed out at all.
Oh
Thank you so
my
much.
God. Just like get some crystals or something.
Way to put added stress onto a release week when I know it's Friday the 13th.
It's really great for promo. Just
Yeah, I'll be burning all the sage that week, if that
well,
helps.
we will be raving about you to everyone we know out here. So maybe we can get you
Appreciate it.
get your name out there, because that
Yes,
would be
absolutely.
great, even for an LA show or something. I know it's such a long flight, but maybe Kelsey and I will come to Europe.
Yeah, we'll do a swap. You guys can come here for a bit. I'll come over there for a bit. We'll make it work.
I'll swap like the holiday.
Yeah. Gosh, I love that movie. I'm so happy that it's around Christmas time and I can watch that without feeling guilty.
Oh my God, don't even. It is my favorite, like seriously. And then I just saw Tenacious D, and Jack Black Scroodle Deedles the same as he does in that movie.
His Scroodle D's and Scroodle Duns are so good. Oh my
It's
God.
so
I remember having the
sweet.
Tenacious D single, CD single, and it had like a B-side on it that just had basically a him scatting song.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so good.
It's so great. He's so hilarious. And that movie,
Yeah.
so happy that you love that, because the holiday, it has a special place in my heart.
I'm such a sucker for anything rom-com. I'm like, I'm in. This
You
is
like
such a weird Venn diagram with me. I'm like, cool, yeah. Anything sport and then rom-com. I'm like, that's my wheelhouse.
That's great. It sounds like well-rounded, honestly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm actually in the middle of rewatching Sex and the City from the beginning.
Oh, great. Have you watched the new version?
No.
I know.
I refuse to.
Same. I just couldn't. I don't know. No. Maybe I will one day. I need content, so honestly, it's getting there. But oh my gosh, you watch like House of the Dragon and stuff like that?
I had, so it's quite funny. I'd never seen Game of Thrones, but when I was living with Freddie, when I was coming backwards and forwards before I moved to Sweden, I was staying at his house for a bit, and he was getting ready before the last season of Game of Thrones, and he was rewatching it from the start to catch up.
Mhm.
And I'll just walk in and out of the room and be like, "Oh, what's this?" I'm like, "Why is that guy in a wheelchair?" I'm like, "Who's that? Wait, they're related? That's crazy." And I'll be the annoying person just asking questions, and like, so I saw like maybe one episode from each season just by like randomly walking in
Oh
on
my
what he
God.
was watching. And then because when I was on tour in 2019, that's when the latest season came out. Everyone in the touring party wanted to download the episodes on Sundays,
Mhm.
and so we could watch them in the tour bus. So I've seen the whole of the last season
The
without
worst
any
season.
context. Yeah. And I'm like, everyone's like so disappointed. I'm like, this show is amazing. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you have no idea.
yeah, I'm like, this is great. They're like, no, you need to see those. I'm like, why? This is such a good ending. They're like, this is the worst ending possible. I'm like, it's so good. But
Yeah,
I've been
that is
trying to catch up
hilarious.
on the House of the Dragon and like stay in because everyone wants to talk about it. And I missed a couple of episodes and I was catching up last night and I just turned it on. I'm like, this is very confronting. A lot of this stuff is very just like, I don't know. I don't
It,
like watching a guy get his face beaten in like real quick.
yeah,
And
it's no Sex in the City. It's it's very dark.
yeah,
There's no
I mean,
happy. Most
it's
shows
got
now.
a equally as good introduction song, I would say. They both have great opening credit songs.
Oh
But
yeah, that's
you know,
great. Very good.
mm,
I actually have just talking about like watching things. I noticed
yeah,
that in Type magazine interview, you did like 10 things to know about you. And there's so many questions I had from things off that list, but my biggest one
okay,
is you're a podcast listener. So I love podcasts also. And
see.
I want some recommendations. What's like your favorite podcast or like 2 or 3 of the ones that you are your go-tos?
Okay, so this is I'm gonna probably out myself here. I probably listen to more podcasts than music a lot of the
Okay.
time.
There.
And it's really bad because I listen to so much. I'm a big basketball crazy fan person.
Okay.
So I listen to probably like 2 to 3 hours of basketball podcasts a day.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm like a massive nerd into like shot percentages and stuff like that. I don't know. I have yeah, I have no life basically is what I'm saying. But outside of basketball podcasts, I really love Stuff You Missed in History Class. Big fan.
Oh, okay.
Because also in like Australia, we miss out on a lot of like kind of world history stuff that like kind of happened, you know, and like learning about, you know, the Yugoslavian war and things like that. I'm like, that was only like not that long ago. How come I didn't learn about this
Yeah.
in school kind of stuff?
Yeah. American history is, I'm sure you've heard, fucked. So
Yeah,
like we get
I've dipped
taught
my toe in from time to time and I'm like, I don't
we
know.
get taught not real things a lot in school.
It's the same in Australia. I mean, they do a lot of covering up of a lot of bad white Australian history, which is very annoying. But I think they're trying to get better at it. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, Stuff You Missed in History in Class, I really love. I love all the like the talks at Google. I find super interesting.
What is that one?
They do talks at Google, and it's usually like
Oh,
random guest speakers that come in. You know, like a guy talking about health and longevity and things like that.
okay.
I never really got into any of the criminal ones that I know a lot of people are super
True
into, like the
crime,
murder.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got into the serial one
Oh,
when that
serial's
was
good.
around. Yeah, I saw Adnan Saeed got freed recently, so I was like, I remember this.
Yeah,
It's great.
it all ties
Yeah,
together. It's like real,
yeah.
like you don't think
I was
of it
like, I
as
knew he
like,
was innocent. I thought the whole time. You
I
guys didn't believe
know,
me.
I knew
I
it.
knew he was. Yeah. Um. That's really interesting. And I also I was into like a sneakers podcast as well. I'm very boring with my podcast, but I just like having stuff going on. I've started to think that maybe I should just like turn off my podcast from time to time because like I go to sleep listening to them. I do the dishes listening to them. I
Oh,
cook listening to them. Yeah, I'm like these AirPods are constantly in my ears, just pumping podcasts all day. Everyone's like, you must be listening to some sad acoustic song. I'm like, no, actually, I'm
don't
learning
you?
about how the body can live longer if you go on
Very
intermittent
important.
fasting from time to time, guys.
Don't you have a lyric in one of your songs that's like your earbuds are always like part of you? Is that the everyone hates me or something?
Yeah, long walk, my headphones for life.
That's
Yeah,
a mood right there. I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people they're like, oh, his lyrics are so ambiguous. I'm like, some of my lyrics are painfully like very niche and accurate to my everyday life, and people just think they're very like random fictional daydream lyrics. I'm like, no, this is this is me.
Oh yeah, I would not think that because your writing is so real. Like I feel like I see what you see in your writing. Like even your
That's
music
good.
videos portray, like when you are running, in your newest video. Oh my gosh, I'm just blanking.
Please don't be or downhill.
Yes, the Please Don't Be music video, when you're running in it, I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly how I felt when
That was
listening
see,
to the song.
you know, we're talking about Australia and being scared of snakes
Yeah, you're
and
running
spiders
through.
and stuff.
Was that in Australia?
like,
Because I also thought that.
that was in Australia, and that was in the countryside in Australia as well. And I was like, I was with my friend, and he was like, yeah, now just run through there. I was like, I don't know, man. That grass is pretty tall.
You're actually running from spiders.
Yeah, and there's like a sign that's like no trespassing, like danger. Like, is that no trespassing like private property, or is that no trespassing might get bitten by something? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's just do it. And I did it. And then he's like, oh, the camera stopped. Can we do that one again? I'm like,
Risking the life for the image. Yeah, no, but
yeah.
but that song, that was such a perfect, because that's how I felt listening to the song, was like, I just kind of want to run away from that feeling of like thinking that, like it just is it's heavy.
Yeah, there's actual fear in that running.
Yeah, I could sense that too.
But yeah, I mean that I came up with that idea. I was just trying to find someone to help do it, and then yeah, I came across this guy Kyle who was from my hometown. He's like, yeah, let's shoot it. I was like, do you know how to shoot? He's like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, nice.
That's a great attitude. I like that.
Yeah,
we got it.
she's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm just gonna run. And he's like, okay, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, so well done. Did you go back recently to Australia for that, or was that a
That
while?
was yeah. I think that was around. It must have been around March that I filmed that, just before the song came out in April. That first song, Please Don't Be.
And in April, I think I saw you signed with Network.
I did.
Congratulations. We love Network.
Thank you.
Get emails from their team all the time with amazing artists, so that's huge.
I swore that I would never sign to a label again after going independent, but they were very sweet, and
They're
I like that
so
vibe,
sweet. Yeah, we're huge fans of them, and that's huge. They're a huge label. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they just seem to really get this kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look through their roster, and it's all, you could put a big festival together with the bands that are on their roster. Like,
Yes,
they would just seem to have like a similar vibe, and yeah, very very helpful. With just letting me be my weird control freak creative self, and if I need help, they'll be there to help me. Yeah,
we mentioned, we were like, they need to do a festival with all their artists. Like we've said that in the past, because it's just like, it's such a good roster of artists that when we saw you got signed, we were like, what?
Network Fest coming in 2023.
Yeah, let's start it in San Diego.
Yeah, headline Brie Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
love that stuff.
you said your album's coming out in January 13th. This has just been so wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out to interview with us.
No, thank you.
I say us, but it's just
it's a collective. I say we when I refer to my music all the time. I'm like, yeah, we just thought it was a great idea to write this song, and I'm like, who am I? I'm like, I'm gonna stick to it. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, your band's really cool. I'm like, thank you. I'm glad that me saying we enough has turned Hazlett into a band.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, do you have a band that travels with you? Because I think you play multiple instruments.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. But I got my drummer here, Fred. He's been with me for a lot of the time. And my keyboardist has just retired. So now has become the hard task of replacing my keyboardist. So
yeah. Oh man, no.
Yeah. So we'll see. I have to, got to sort that out before a lot more touring in the new year.
All right. Well, hopefully you find. I mean, I'm sure you'll find one. A lot more touring is happening. We're ready.
Yeah. If you or Kelsey, pick up the keys sometime soon, let me know.
Oh, yeah.
You can come for a tryout in the band.
I could do chopsticks, like everyone.
Nice.
And the knuckles one, it's like bling ding ding bling ding ding. I played piano when I was like 8.
We'll just have to, you know, change the whole set around your skill set.
Yeah, just my skills.
We'll work around you.
Oh, that's so nice. I would love to
you're
go
welcome.
on tour, so I'll submit my audition video ASAP.
If you,
All right. Well, thank you so much for meeting. And
awesome, absolutely.
have a wonderful evening. Thank
All right,
you.
talk to you soon.
All
Ta-ta.
right.